The nor'easter is now developing. Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. It is Saturday, February 21st, 2026. You're joining us here on Snow Bros. This is what we're tracking, this developing nor'easter. I want to show you the models. I want to show you what we're seeing, but not just the data. We're not going to give you a whole bunch of scenarios just to cover our butts. Our job, Matt and I, is to give you the information you need and to make that call, and that's what we've been doing the last few days. So I'll spell it out. I'll show you the model differences, but I'll show you exactly what we're seeing, and it is on track. If you're new to this channel, thousands of new subscribers just over the last couple of days. We show you things like this, the different models, but we let you know exactly what we're seeing based on our experience. Now, this is the American model. And this model has actually been doing very well as a whole, initializing this storm. The European model just a couple days ago was showing nothing else. About 3 days ago, Matt and I were seeing kind of a blend. The American model, a little bit too aggressive. The European model was way off. And now we're starting to see things coming together. This here, the American model, still showing some big snow totals from Philly back toward DC, which would be over a foot. I think that's a little bit too much, but we're going to see some areas get close to 2 feet. So we're going to zoom down to certain areas where we'll see the highest snow totals. On the flip side, that was the American model. This is the European model, and you can see the big difference that we're seeing in the models. You see right here, huge difference. DC, Philly, just picking a couple spots, 4 to 5 inches. That is a big difference from a foot of snow. Now, a few miles makes a big difference in a nor'easter, as you well know. We trust your judgment. You've been through these a lot of times. With that, any shift could bring a lot more snow, but there's some big differences in the models. We're leaning to the European model as far as the output of snow, but that's probably still a little bit underdone, right? Okay, so we'll get into that in just a moment. Now, here's the American model. It is coming into line with the timing of all of this. The European model, which I'll show you in a second, is just basically this, but a little bit slower, so more so of a Monday event. But this gives us a really good feel, right? This is by the time we work our way into tomorrow morning, stopping the clock here. Not as much, say, back toward West Virginia, seeing some of the snow across 81 really starting to build tomorrow morning. So here's your time frame, so you can pick a spot on the map where you are. Mainly the rain back through North Carolina. We'll see a switch over toward the Tidewater area eventually. This and through here, the yellow shading, that could be some mixing getting in. But Front Royal, Manassas, Reston, you get over toward Fair Oaks by the mall. We're going to see some heavier snow Sunday morning starting to develop. If you don't have it when you wake up, just wait an hour or two around the DC area. We'll see it all the way back through Fredericksburg. Richmond, we're going to be on the edge of it. Salisbury should start as a rain, right? Covering Delmarva on this channel. I know a lot of folks leave out Delmarva, New Jersey, Long Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, Delaware. We're not going to do that. We got you covered here. So here's York, Lancaster, Dover. You get over toward the Monster Mile, back toward DC right here. This kind of bluer shading where you're seeing this, that's the really heavy stuff starting to work in as we work our way through the day on Sunday. Central and southern New Jersey, this is going to be a big snow, especially if you're closer to the shore. A big snow that will be working in. Now you start to see the backside of it here. This is 5 p.m. on Sunday tomorrow, but starting to work into Long Island and southern New England. Again, if you don't have it, just wait a few hours. Maybe it's not 5, maybe it's more like 8. This is going to change. And again, the European model is a little bit slower than this. So if you're waiting on the snow, it'll eventually come. Right on the edge of the heavier stuff, still DC, Philly, but in particular, across Delmarva, right through New Jersey, this almost bluish shading in here, clipping New York City, and then right through Long Island. That's where we're going to have some of the really heavier stuff. So Stone Harbor, Atlantic City, just naming a few spots, swinging all the way up through Hamilton. Summit on the edge of that bigger snow to give you that feel. We swing back toward the Poconos, watching Scranton. It's going to be a little bit less, getting some snow, but a little bit less. Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, again, Albany on the edge of it. But there is that swath right through here. This shading here is the big concern for Matt and I, because any shift of this system a little bit more to the north could bring a foot of snow or more, say to Hartford, watching that, increase some of the snow totals, Poughkeepsie, Saratoga Springs, but either way, New Jersey, Long Island, right back through Connecticut, seeing some of the heavier snow. Southern Connecticut, that's where we'll see some of the higher totals. Rhode Island, often left out by most entities. Not us, we got you covered, watching the heavier snow right around Salve. That's going to start to really build as we work our way into Sunday night, Monday morning. Heavier snow by Yukon. We swing back toward Springfield. Here's a Worcester, and then you get over toward Southborough, seeing some of that snow. It's a little bit less for western Mass. This is the concern. The Cape and the Islands, the South Shore, parts of Long Island, southern Rhode Island, and southern sections of Connecticut, and then swinging back toward Boston, where you get that bluer shading. That's where we could get some spots that pop out around 2 feet of snow. There's going to be a thin line that gets about 2 feet. Now, as we work our way into Monday morning, snow showers Allentown, Philly, all of that winding down back through Delaware, New Jersey. Then the focus will be shifting over here, watching Providence, Cumberland, Diamond Hill, swinging back toward Boston. Right in through here. Here's Marshfield, for example. A heavier snow coming over toward Marshfield. Quincy, get over toward Buzzards Bay. Used to be a nice little water park way back in the day right there. Here's Mashpee Commons. A heavier snow as we work our way into Monday morning. Fall River right here. You swing back toward Warwick, watching the snow. Attleboro, North Attleboro. A heavy snow is going to be heading in. Where you see these whiter shadings, Meriden, for example, Glastonbury, Hartford, Manchester. It's not going to be quite as heavy for the most part. It's where these blues are, watching Providence, swinging back toward the Cape, and then lifting to the north. Vermont and New Hampshire. Northern sections, not as much. Southern sections, a little bit more. Watching some of the snow and keeping a very close eye in southern New Hampshire, in southern sections of Maine. Maine, we are watching you carefully. Big difference north to south along the coast. A heavy snow will be possible. You see it here. This is Monday by 2 o'clock. Long duration event, right? Scattered snow showers in through here, just kind of fizzling out. Not a big issue, but the focus still the Cape, the Islands, up through parts of Maine. Still watching Boston here, starting to shut off into parts of Rhode Island. Western Mass, just some snow showers. But then you see some of that snow that's going to clip by parts of Maine. Again, southern sections, big difference. Northern, central, and southern zones. Augusta, watching across 95 for that snow, and then building back toward Nova Scotia. That's where we're going to see some of the snow. Keeping an eye on New Brunswick, at least some snow showers, but again, southern sections in Prince Edward Island, watching out for the possibility of some snow. We're going to monitor as this all pivots up, as it does eventually Monday night, Tuesday morning. Cutting off. It's done in New England. It's leaving Nova Scotia. The focus then will be Newfoundland, the Avalon Peninsula, but as it lifts to the north, may draw on some warm air, right? So that could bring in actually some rain to some spots. Avalon Peninsula actually may be more rain, which could limit things. Now, here's the European model. Just a quick snapshot. Value your time. Don't want to waste your time. I want to get into the snow totals. The European model was almost showing, it was really showing nothing for Boston a couple days ago, right? And now we're talking about a foot of snow. So the European model was way off. It's coming in line with the American model, but the American model, that was a little bit too aggressive. So it's kind of that blend that Matt and I have been talking about. But just to give you a feel, this here is a Sunday morning as a whole, or at least earlier on a Sunday, getting through Sunday midday. It's still showing the green. Here's the center of this, still showing some of the green, which would be the rain. The blue would be the snow. It's showing a slower developing system, right? So I just showed you the American model. I mentioned if you're not getting the snow for 4, 5, 6 hours and you've been waiting on it, it's probably because the European model, the timing of it's doing a little bit better. You can see she's trying to show some of the rain in parts of New Jersey before we get the switch over. The European model saying, hey, this is going to be more of that really true Sunday night, Monday event with some of that heavier snow. But again, a few days ago, the European model was not showing this at all. It does show lesser totals. I'll show you that in a moment, DC and Philly. But everything, as we mentioned about 4 days ago, showing the significant snow, the Cape and the Islands, watching Long Island, just naming a few spots, back through Boston, a significant snow, and then right through the Jersey Shore, and then clipping by parts of Delaware for the very significant snow. So this is what we're leaning to, and this is what we're doing today. If you're subscribed, you're going to get some special updates today. You'll get those notifications. Matt's taking certain maps, and he's doing it right now behind the scenes, and we're kind of tweaking them. So you're going to see some maps that you don't get anywhere else. We're going to have that in the next video. So Matt's putting together those because, again, we're not just trying to spit out the data. We're trying to give you exactly what we're seeing. So he's actually making some new maps. They're hard to do. They take a lot of processing. He'll have those coming up. But this just to give you a feel before you get that next video video. We're leaning, as I mentioned, to the European model now, finally that it's kind of come around, but you still may want to add on a couple inches. I mentioned that yesterday morning, remember? So you see these totals. Let's start to zoom down, and you can pick a spot on where you are. Matt's going to put together those maps with all of the nice cities on them for that next video, but you could kind of get a feel. Here's West Virginia, Pennsylvania. You get through the Panhandle of Maryland, Panhandle of West Virginia, Virginia, to give you a feel. The European model is showing about 4 inches in DC, maybe about 4 to 5, so it could be a little bit more around Fairfax, for example, but any shift would bring more of that significant snow. As of now, because of the mixing, we're a little bit lower across Delmarva, maybe about 6, say anywhere from Dover back through Salisbury, somewhere in that neighborhood. Rehoboth, a little bit more, 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of some of the snow. Ocean City, Maryland, same thing, closer to the coast. So take these numbers, and again, I love YouTube because you could stop it, you could pause, you could zoom in, you could go back, and you could kind of get a feel, but maybe add a couple inches just for preparation sake. So you get around Wilmington, Philly, we're looking at 4 to 5. We're kind of holding there, but look at this heavier stuff. 15 is not far away, right? I've been highlighting the Jersey Shore nonstop. Any little shift, 10, 20 miles, could bring maybe upwards of 6 to 9 inches of snow back toward Philly. But Matt and I are kind of putting together the final totals, and we'll have all of that. But along the coast, along the Jersey Shore, we're looking at about 12 to 15. That is going to be a high possibility closer to the water. The more inland in New Jersey, less. And again, as I mentioned, you get back toward Scranton, maybe 3, 4, 5 inches of some snow. 9 inches, that's what we're holding across New York City, across the boroughs. But it could be higher. It's going to be that close call. It could be as high as 12. We'll watch out for that. And we're going for about a foot as a whole back through Long Island. So that's our thinking. Anywhere from about 9 to 12 across Long Island. A little bit more as you swing back toward the eastern sections. You work your way back toward the Hamptons, higher totals. Connecticut, I mentioned southern sections, watching New Haven, New London. Better chance of snow of maybe 7, 8, 9 inches of snow. Hartford will lean to about 8. That may be, it's on the edge. 8's a good call right now. But you see the Albany area, Poughkeepsie, Saratoga Springs. You get over toward Springfield, Holyoke, running at about 4 to 5, nothing we can't handle. But Worcester is kind of that cutoff. It's on the edge of a very significant snow that could be as high as about a foot. And then we're watching that throughout Rhode Island. Rhode Island, we're looking at anywhere from 12 to 15. And that's a broad brush for most locations in Rhode Island. More to the east, more to the south, some higher totals. We could top out around 15, 16 as we get over toward Newport. That'll be a possibility. The Cape and the Islands, about 17, maybe a little bit less in Nantucket. Nantucket, we're looking more like 12 because we could get a little bit of that mixing in that would limit some of the totals. Martha's Vineyard, Woods Hole, Falmouth, we're looking at upwards of about 16 to 17, 15 as we work our way into Boston. That's the call. But in this swath right in here, this is exactly where some folks could get about 2 feet. Again, I mentioned Vermont, New Hampshire, not as much, 4 or 5, but on the edge of the Massachusetts line right here, 6 to 7, about 8 as we work our way into southern sections of Maine, but a whole lot of nothing as we work our way up toward the north. So you work your way north in Maine, again, not as much. And then we're looking in through here as we work our way back through Nova Scotia, anywhere from about 15 to 25 centimeters. Some of that mixing or rain will limit some of the totals as we work our way back toward Newfoundland. Some higher totals at times, but more so to the north. We're going to get some of that rain trying to mix in. So the nor'easter is developing, highest totals at the coast, very close call. Philly, DC it is. Baltimore, Annapolis, a very close call as well. Higher totals as you get into coastal sections of Delaware, back through Maryland, and of course New Jersey, Long Island, and then swinging on the edge of Hartford to the east, back through Rhode Island, the Cape and the Islands, right through Boston. That's where the heaviest stuff is going to be, where that thin area could top out around 2 feet of some of the snow. Any small shift could bring some bigger totals, as I mentioned, back toward Baltimore, back toward Annapolis, back toward DC, Reston, and then back toward the Philly area. But if it holds as of now, we're kind of looking at more of 4 to 5 in those areas, but closer to the coast is what we're watching. So we're processing some new maps, some high resolution data. It takes a while because we want to give you the good stuff, and we're going to do so as we go throughout the day. So if you're subscribed, you'll get those updates. This is a fun one to track, but of course, be safe once that snow starts. Got you covered right here on Snow Bros. Welcome to thousands of new subscribers. Hope you're doing well. Have a good start to the weekend.